from a galaxy far, far away.
And a bookshelf straight out of the 90s.
From Thrawn to Dantooine.
And everything in between. This is Legends Look Back.
Hello there, and I am very excited to show off something. Guys, I've been sitting on this for about a week now, waiting for the chance to make the big reveal. Couldn't even share it, on like Instagram or Twitter or our team social media. I wanted to wait and show it live on the show. I have finally put up, as you can see over here in the corner, if I can get the pointing right, I've got some bookshelves. Some over here, too. Yeah. The new episode of the Yavin Base Builds coming out tomorrow on the Patreon for our $10 and up patrons, showing the chronicling of me building these shelves in terms of, I had to paint every last surface of these things, then put them together, and it was a bunch of coats of paint. A bunch. Anyway, I finally put my books on the shelves. And as I did so, I took my the big, huge Legends Comics Omnibuy out of their plastic wraps, Freddie. I know. For months, I've been talking about how I've not taken these out of their wraps. And now that I've done it,
What
I
done?
have discovered something huge. I've got the Rise of the Sith Omnibus, brand new, just got here very, very recently. In fact, my wife was like, did they send you 2 copies? I was like, no, the other one, the Darth Vader one that took forever to get here, it got sent to the wrong address. And then I was like, no, this is a different one. She was thrilled. Anyway, I also have, even strong enough to lift this thing. The Knights of the Old Republic Omnibus is now also out of its case. Mm-hmm. And would y'all check this out? First of all, New York Times best smeller.
Yay.
Okay, does pass the test.
Moist.
Also, ready for this?
Ready.
When you take the dust jacket off,
No.
there's art printed
Different art?
Wow.
on.
Oh.
All right, that's
Look at-
gorgeous.
What is that? What are those
I don't
things
even know what
called
that-
that
a
get
ranker?
the Rathtar?
Rat-
No. What are they called? The ones that get the cell
Very unlegends of you.
from KOTOR, Freddie. The ones that get the rat ghoul.
Rat
There it
ghouls.
is. It's a
Ah.
rat ghoul.
Nice.
Look at the way it wraps, and it's like the matte finish.
Beautiful.
That's
It feels nice and
gorgeous.
smooth. It's got Knights of the Old Republic art. I could not. Y'all should have heard the sound that came out of my mouth when
Can you
I
replicate
got the
it?
dust
Yeah, I want
jacket.
to hear it right now.
It's
Well, it's a
inaudible.
lot like the sound that came out of your mouth, out of your guttural region, Emily. When, like the full Home Alone experience when this.
Hold on. Do that one more time, Jared. There's our time.
All right,
Love it.
and all right, so now my hands are all greasy from my face. Anyway,
Oh, no.
the Darth Maul also has it.
Oh,
Oh,
check
that
that
one
out.
is really pretty.
Thing, Darth Maul.
Man.
There's no.
Gosh, that's
I already
beautiful.
forgot what they're called. Reptars? Rathars? Hold on. What I call that? Starts with an R. What I call that
Rat
thing?
ghouls?
Rat ghoul. No rat ghoul on this one, unfortunately.
Going Rugrats.
Or Reptars. Or Rathars. None of them. It does have Darth Maul.
Nice.
You know what else doesn't have any? You know what else doesn't have any Rathars, Reptars, or
Rat ghouls.
Rancors? This episode of Legends Look Back. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's start the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Legends Look Back, proudly part of the YOUTINI Podcast Network. This is a Star Wars books podcast that you can listen to in between the Olsen Twins mysteries, where we celebrate our rich EU history as well as dive into lesser-known Star Wars classics. I'm your host, Jared Mays, and I am joined once again for the second time tonight, Freddie C.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Gosh, I forgot we just did another episode. It's a secret little episode that we did for you guys based on something we're going to talk about today. And it's quite interesting because, I would recommend if you are a audio listener, if you haven't yet watched our YouTube streams, it's probably a really good one to watch on the YouTube stream. We're going to go over a lot of art and It's something that you can listen to, but the visuals are stunning, and honestly, I think we had a couple hot takes on this probably being some of the best art in Legends for Crimson Empire, so exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, we recorded next week's episode 1 week in advance. So, welcome to the time travel dimension that we've got going on here in Legends Look Back. And by that I mean, we've already done an episode tonight, so we're tired. So if we say things like calling rat ghouls reptars, well, that's why. All right? That's why. Also, you heard her over there. She's still here. We have not yet lost her to motherhood. Emily Daybeck, how are you?
Well, I'm still pregnant, Jared.
Tell me what you were telling what you were telling the team before we went live. It was priceless.
Well, usually when I log in to join the chat live on YouTube, I'll see, random videos that I've been watching lately, and my current history is all labor induction tips. How to start labor at home, and meditations to induce labor at home. This, that, and the other. Birth stories. I am quite ready to be done. And it's at that point in the pregnancy where everybody else is ready for me to be done too. And so they just keep asking me about the baby, and it's not very helpful because the baby is still quite safe and stationary. It's not going anywhere.
I'll tell you what'll induce labor. The Xanabar. Am I right?
Oh my gosh. Don't even. Wait.
If you don't yet know what I'm talking about, they are some of the ancillary characters from Crimson Empire 2. So the second volume of Crimson Empire. How would you describe them, the Xanabar guys? The blue, bald, skinny aliens.
Yes.
With
Creepy
Arkansas
eyes.
teeth. No, excuse me, Tennessee teeth.
Whoa.
And
We'll say West Virginia.
okay. Yeah, their eyes can roll way up into their heads.
Yeah.
I can't even trying to replicate it. I can't.
And then they're looking for victims for a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Always. They always
Has to
want
be
more victims.
alive.
And the leader's name is Xanaxabar. Yeah, right. It's just like a bunch of consonants, isn't it? How do you guys say his name?
I don't even know.
Zerdival.
Yeah, I think I call him Xanaxable in my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
They're creepy. That's
All right,
for sure.
who else we got here that I haven't introduced yet? Rick.
Me, pick
Hello,
me.
Rick. Welcome.
Hello.
Your turn.
Hey, you were recording, right, Jared, for the last episode?
I'm
just kidding.
I hope so.
Yeah, I tried. Skooma Joe asked what my hat says. It's Alliance Forces Rebel since Scarif, I think. That's what it says.
Ooh.
So,
Very
yeah.
cool.
Rick's got the best Star Wars dad hats in the galaxy.
I know he's wearing a different one in the next episode. Can't wait for y'all to
I
see
know.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, you did a wardrobe change?
He
I
did
missed
a
it.
wardrobe change.
Just my hat. I love this shirt so much. I'm gonna wear it again next week.
His jokes are fresh. His attire is fresh.
Armpits
ready
not
to
so
It
go.
much.
may not be as fresh if he's wearing it for a
Yes.
week straight.
Oh yeah.
I know. I didn't say
fair.
wear it.
Yep.
I just said to wear it again in a week. Surely I'll do the laundry by then. Surely.
You know, I'm realizing with the wardrobe that we've really, blown this opportunity. It is St. Patrick's Day. Is it
Yes.
today, tomorrow?
I got
Today.
some green in here.
Yeah.
Today's
This is
St. Patrick's
kind of
Day.
green.
Green hat.
We're all
Sagey.
wearing different shades of green. I
And,
wouldn't have a clue. I'm colorblind. But the fact of the matter is, we're talking about Crimson Empire. Wait, Freddie, is that a Star Wars shirt?
It is. There's let's see,
What?
You can see that there's a R2D2
Oh, nice.
hanging out there, and I'm pretty sure right here on my biceps, that's the Millennium Falcon.
That's a Millennium Falcon.
You
Yeah.
see that?
Oh,
Wow, good eye. I did not catch that at all.
Freddie's, I've learned after 3 years of podcasting with Freddie, if he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, 9 times out of 10, it's a Star Wars Hawaiian shirt.
I would love a TikTok tour of your closet, Freddie. That would just be
Oh
a
yeah,
highlight.
yeah. It's there's a lot of
Maybe
Star
that could
Wars.
be a Patreon goal.
There was anytime there's like a Star Wars Hawaiian shirt that drops, no matter where it's at, I've got my mitts on it.
Nice. Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm
Where
just realizing. Go ahead.
where do like what stores carry those?
Oh, that's a good question.
So some of the first stores that dropped them were PacSun back in the day.
Yep.
And those were really cool. They've got ads on them and a bunch of cool vehicles. Kohl's had also like a nice solid drop of Hawaiian Star Wars shirts with like Chewbacca, and a couple other characters. Yeah, you just gotta type in Star Wars Hawaiian shirts. I'm pretty sure you'll find some good.
So I think I'm past my prime for Hawaiian shirts though, because
never
I
too
would
late.
totally, dude. I would be the tourist dad, because it's like I can see like the cargo shorts and the short or the socks with flip flops that complete the look.
Oh yeah.
So
Birkenstocks.
like, yeah, exactly. So I don't think I could pull it off anymore. So I think my time for Hawaiian Star Wars shirts is past.
Hey, no, there's
Or
no
it's
such
ahead
thing.
of you because they
Yeah.
come back around.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
When you retire,
And you tuck them in.
anything goes.
And then your fanny pack. Okay, that actually kind of cut.
And you get those really cool zip-off pants where it's like they're pants and shorts. So
I still
like
have
they could
those.
be-
Yeah,
I have
those too.
So
I had some of those in college. Don't ask me why.
They're good for
It's an
fishing.
interesting
You go on a
choice.
fishing trip early in the morning. You
Yeah.
got to keep those calves warm. Then
Oh.
midday, sun comes out. You got to let
Yeah.
those suckers breathe.
so that your
Yep.
knees can burn.
That's right.
I wore them to Six Flags, and all my teenagers that I was with were making fun of me. This was for I'm a youth minister; it's my job, so it's weird when I just talk about teenagers randomly. But that's why I was with teenagers.
And I take
and,
the teens out.
I embarrassed them by zipping off the bottom leg of my shorts. They're like, "Are you kidding me right now?" I'm like, "No, it's
Uh-oh,
hot."
it's getting serious.
If you can't
love
poke fun at your youth minister, are you even a youth minister?
That's
Rumor-
right.
That's right.
That's
Rumor has
right.
it that under Boba Fett's orange knee guard, if you take that off, there you can unzip his pants.
Okay.
You just made Emily straight make the pog face. That's how good that was. Now, here's the blown opportunity. Guys, we're talking about Crimson Empire. Our episode is named after a color. And it is St. Patrick's Day. We're all wearing green on Crimson Empire Day. Okay, Rick just changed his background color. I could do that too.
Ta-da!
Yeah, you probably couldn't tell. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, we are talking about one of the very best Legends stories there ever was, Crimson Empire, and it is a comic from the 90s. We're going to give more details on that in just a minute. First, we've got a little bit of Legends news we've got to get to before we move along, and that is some big, fun Legends news. Might we call it... Maybe you'll want to say hello there to these books. Am I right? All right. Show us what we got, Rick. The covers were just revealed for Tales of Kenobi,
So cool.
the Barnes & Noble hardcover edition.
That's pretty.
And this is going to have both Kenobi by John Jackson Miller and what was it? Approaching Storm.
That's just a rumor. We
Yeah.
actually don't have officially released yet from Barnes & Noble what is in this edition. John Jackson Miller himself on Twitter is bugging Barnes & Noble to say, hey guys, would love it if you'd let me know what is in this.
Yeah.
Obviously my book, Kenobi, but what else?
Yep.
And so that we're thinking Approaching Storm. That's just a rumor. Somebody, I'm not sure who, maybe it was Trevor. Somebody said that they think it could also have like some Legends Kenobi short stories. A short story, Incognito, by John Jackson Miller. It's also a tie-in to Kenobi could be in here. That would be very cool, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, that'd be so cool.
And Freddie, tell us about the other book that is coming out on September 14th from Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, so we've got this next one here, which is
What?
I'm looking for it. It's somewhere. It's somewhere in these notes. Okay, yeah, we've got Bounty Hunter Wars, which really interesting, beautiful cover. Are these going to be leather bound at all, or do you know how they're?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yes, this is a beautiful cover. Look at that. I love
That's
the
gorgeous.
covers for both of them. They're simple, yet they have enough contrast to really convey what you're looking at. And this is a beautiful image of Boba Fett. Exciting.
I want to see the back covers of these because, as we all know, that Han Solo leather-bound edition has got Jabba smoking a hookah on the back.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is going to be
And Boba Fett, he's on the back cover of that one too.
this one's going straight on my shelf.
Yeah, there's the...
Oh, that's
Oh yeah, Rick's
that's
showing
great.
it off.
That's beautiful.
I just put that on my shelf the other day. I finished reading it. I was just reading Rebel Dawn out of that, which
Yeah.
if you've never actually sat down and read out of these, you are missing out.
Yeah.
They are
It's a good reading experience.
just pristine because they'll lay open really well.
Yeah.
And then
Ooh.
they have built-in bookmarks,
Yes.
guys. Ribbons like the Bible.
I know it.
Biblical. Except
That's
for,
why
as
I'm
you
saying-
informed me, there are no pictures in the Bible.
Kinda like this,
So
right?
There's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at Freddie with his Bible.
Love it.
Man.
Love it. There's actually,
Now-
all right, so there's this truck parked on the corner that I swear looks like Boba Fett. And I took a picture. I forgot to send it to you guys. But it's like, it's red underneath. And then it has like a matte coat of paint over it. And it just looks like Boba Fett
That's
as a
so
pickup
awesome.
truck.
Well, that
I'm going to have
reminds
to
me
send it
of-
out in Discord.
What is it, the Tundra or the Tacoma? The white Tacoma looks like a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Oh,
Awesome.
wow. Emily, the Discord is going to need to see that.
I know,
So,
I know. I need to drop it. I'll drop it.
Absolutely. Well, very excited to show those off whenever we actually have them in hand in September.
Yep.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed. These don't get delayed any further. And,
September
we'll be
14th.
out in September. Absolutely. Before we know it. Now, one other thing, as I mentioned at the top of the show, a new episode of Yavin Base Builds is coming out tomorrow, where I am painting and assembling all of my Star Wars bookcases. And would love for you guys to chime in after watching it. How in the world should I organize my reference books? Because what do you do chronologically? You can't. They're reference books.
All right.
You do color or size. Size matters not. You're not supposed to do that. So
I've been thinking about that too, because I'm in a similar process, not going to the same lengths, unfortunately, but I decided that
well, you don't know how much money I've spent. It's fortunately, I'll say that much.
Unfortunate for me, because I want one that cool. But I was thinking the same thing. I decided that I'm gonna have a shelf for in-universe books. Are we doing a Legends look at or Thraken store this week?
No, but if you got something, show it off.
Yeah. So this is your fault, Jared. I have had on my shelf the Book of the Sith, the Jedi Path, the Imperial Handbook, and the Bounty Hunter's Guide. Those are 4 of the in-universe, handbook kind of books. Mm-hmm. And last week or the week before, you showed off the Rebel Files, and I was like, why don't I have those? I really like the other ones, and so I didn't know that they existed, and so I went out and had to get the Rebel Files and the Smuggler's Guide. Now I'm hoping there's just 6 of them, and I have them now, but I decided that I'm going to do a whole in-universe shelf with all of the in-universe Star Wars books so that I can feel, whenever I really just want to dive deep and just let my imagination go wild, like the Myths and Fables books and whatever they have, both canon and legend. There's a whole bunch out there the more you think about it, like reference
Rick, are
books
you ready?
especially. Oh, man.
You ready for me to burst your bubble?
What you got?
There are more.
It's exciting, though, because they're
And
great. How many more?
They're oversized. They have a couple that are like jumbo. I'll see if I can grab one without knocking over everything that I've got on my computer. And they've got a Stormtroopers one, another one called Scum and Villainy. And these are double the size, double the fun.
I'm excited.
Alrighty, here we go. Stormtrooper is
okay.
this big.
I have that one.
Okay.
Is that one in the
So
universe?
maybe it doesn't count. It's kind of beyond the. It's got some behind the scenes on how they. I don't guess it's in the universe. Is
Okay.
it?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how they frame it. I've only peeked inside.
No, not really. Okay.
Hey, Rick, do you have those Haynes Star Wars Millennium Falcon books? It's like the
like the owner's guide.
Yeah.
I think I have one of them. I know I have the Death Star one, but I don't have that one. That's a good one. If I do, it's like the new one with the escape pod included.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I love those books because Haynes, if I'm not mistaken, Haynes actually publishes actual owner manuals for cars. Like if you've got a BMW,
Nice.
you can buy it and it'll tell you how to fix everything. So these books are actually made as if this thing is real and.
Oh, really?
You can,
Yeah.
And you can actually it's written by the same people, so they take good effort in pretending like this is an actual real thing, and if you need to fix a radiator leak, like it'll tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They're impressive for sure. Man,
Nice.
books. Love books.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Books.
One of them, another good one, is Crimson Empire.
Yes.
And we are going to be talking all about it tonight. I'm proud to be showing off my 30th anniversary hardcover that I got on a tremendous
Gorgeous.
bargain.
Nice.
Such a beautiful-
I have to admit, I mostly read it digitally, though. It's just...
That's such a beautiful cover.
It's really cool. The Kindle edition, though, does have like those bonus stories, kind of the in-between, what happened in between the trilogies. So those are really good. This one only has the first 6 issues, the original run of Crimson Empire. Whew, we're going to talk about all of it. There's a lot to cover. So without further ado, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with Blood, Guts, and Gore, a Star Wars story, a.k.a. Crimson Empire. We have got some fantastic Legends comics to talk about tonight. In fact, I read these just because I never had, and these action figures came out. The Kier Kanos, Carnor Jax action figure, this is kind of a misprint. We've talked about it till we're blue in the teeth. This came out last year, and I was like, well, I've never read these. I should probably give them a shot since they, were action figure worthy. And just was in love with them. Now, don't get me wrong, they are just chock full of toxic masculinity in the 80s, 90s action hero kind of way. We're going to talk about it. We're not going to make excuses for it. It's part of it. That being said, I loved it. I really did. And, it could have been worse. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, I finally was like, guys, we've got to talk about these. Sooner or later, we're going to have to get to them. And here's our reason why. Are you ready?
Yes.
In canon, they have new Crimson stories. You guys know about these?
No.
No.
Yeah, there's Crimson Reign.
Oh, yes.
It's like a new ongoing comics arc. Crimson, I don't know, other things. Crimson, there's more. Surely somebody from the...
It's a dramatic color,
The comics people are going to be yelling at me in the chat, so just give them 10 seconds for it to catch up. Crimson War? That could be one.
Crimson Empire, Crimson Reign, Crimson...
Crimson Empire is the Legends comic.
Crimson Bad Guy, Crimson Good Guy.
There's new ones in canon. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Legends Crimson story that did it first. I'm not necessarily saying they did it better, but, we did it first at the very least.
Crimson Dawn, of course.
Yeah, that's not the story. That's
that's
I like
crime
the
syndicate. Crime
the other
syndicate.
comment there. Crimson Things.
right. They factor in. Yes. It was in War of the Bounty Hunters first and foremost, and now the new ongoing series called Crimson Reign, and then there's another one that's been announced. I don't remember what it is.
Is it Crimson Snow? Different kind of rain, I know.
Don't trust the Crimson Snow. Don't touch it.
Okay.
Freddie, tell us about what this book is, when it came out, who wrote it.
Yeah. So the publication date, it ranges. So there's several. If you're looking at, it's not really an omnibus. Maybe it is an omnibus. I guess it remains to be argued there. But we've got Crimson Empire, which was published in 97 through 99, when you had a couple of standalone comics within that, and you also had Crimson Empire 2, Crimson Empire 3, and the last one, I believe, Crimson Empire 3, was published in 2011, about almost 10 years later. So pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's a long time.
A long span for to carry the whole comic, and it, in my opinion, it reads really well all the way from beginning to end. You wouldn't realize that there's such a gap between the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I think this is my first time through it, and so I didn't know about that. I just read it and enjoyed it with very little background knowledge other than, the action figure controversy. And that was about it. And so, yeah, I totally found it very enjoyable for that reason, because it's a great story.
Yeah, and imagine to be able to keep a story running after it's been in a hiatus for that long. You'd have to get back into the mindset of what it was like in the 90s to write it. What were they thinking, and copy it right in the 2000s. And the authors there were Mike Richardson and Randy Stradley, and of course the artists. We've got cover art by the infamous Dave Dorman, and the inside art we've got by Paul Gulacy. I think that remains to be contested still.
Yeah. Now, the development of this really is staggering. Did you guys, in researching for this week, pick up any of how this came to be? It's amazing.
No. How did it come to be?
Yeah. What's the background?
So Mike Richardson, I believe it was Mike Richardson, had this idea. He was working. See if I can pull it up. He was working in developing some stories for Dark Horse in the early 90s, right about the time that Dark Empire came out, and this does tie into it. And this was a pitch, like a story idea that he had as a seedling of an idea for years and years before it could finally come to fruition and see the light of day. And his original concept here, this is something he just like kept pitching to people, and he kept pitching it, and he kept pitching it until it finally was approved and became a thing. Isn't that cool?
That's amazing.
Man.
The idea for it actually had to be refined a little bit. The idea was that this would be about the 4 royal guards, the 4 that are in Return of the Jedi, Palpatine's 4 royal guards, and that you follow each of their stories after Return of the Jedi. This doesn't do that, right? This specifically follows the story of 2 royal guards, Karnor Jax and Kir Kanos, as they are, kind of Legends frenemies, but it's after Dark Empire, so it ties into Dark Empire, which, I love Dark Empire. And so the fact that this ties into it is really nice.
The way they tied it in, too, is so flawless. It just works so well.
Yeah, so tell the good folks how it ties in, Freddie.
Yeah,
While I look for this detail of what year it was that he pitched this.
Yeah, so let's see. Karnor Jax, I guess the summary is Karnor Jax is, well, I'm not going to do the whole summary. I'll just talk about the entrance.
The basic premise.
Yeah, the basic premise. He basically, Karnor Jax wants to take over as the Emperor, right? And he sabotages the clones that we see in Dark Empire, which that's where the tie-in there is. And of course, he's got dirt on some of the council, and Kir Kanos he wants nothing to do with it. He does not like that plan at all, and will do anything to stop Jax from accomplishing his task.
And as such, one of the reasons that this ties into Dark Empire, if you said it and I zoned out, hey, this is our second episode of the night, so I apologize, is that there was, Karnor Jax basically was orchestrating an overthrow of the Emperor behind the scenes and wanted to take the Empire for himself, so he pays off one of Palpatine's physicians, one of his cloning scientists, to sabotage Palpatine's final clone, which is why that body deteriorates in Dark Empire, thus leading us back to last week's topic of Palpatine, old crusty Palpatine, decaying Palpatine, formerly naked Palpatine, no longer naked, who's trying to take the body of Princess Leia's unborn child.
That's
Recently born child?
Do you think we can credit Jax with taking all the clothes away for the clone?
Well, no, I don't think so, but nice try.
Hey, while we're on that, Naked Palpatine, do you think that could be like a Patreon perk of like a tattoo of Naked Palp?
And Salacious
Moving on.
Tattoo.
The both of them?
I'm more likely to get a Crimson Empire tattoo. Like, the Imperial logo on fire, that would be a cool tattoo.
That would be a really cool tattoo.
I was thinking about getting my first tattoo soon, and I've got some ideas, but I was thinking, like...
Salacious B. Crumb right
if
in the left
price, I was going to say, if the price was right, I could put a Naked Palp on the back cheek or something. No one would see it. No one would know it's there.
Price
But...
was right. Wow. And you're like volunteering. You're like,
I mean...
this isn't like, let's make Jared get a tattoo.
What would the price be? Like,
I don't know what you
$5,000?
offer.
That's a good question.
$10,000?
What are you
Would it
offering?
$500?
Serious
$10
offers
super
only.
chat.
Serious.
I'm not going to pay you.
I'm convinced.
I'm not going to pay you any money for this. $0.
He doesn't want to be...
We don't have a deal. We don't have a deal.
We don't have to answer to Rick's wife.
Oh my goodness.
No, I would not
man.
want to see her if we paid Rick to get Naked Palpatine tattooed on him. Well, you know who else wouldn't like that? Kir Kanos. He's a
true.
very serious man. Very,
Yes.
very serious man. In fact, so serious that he seriously wants to get out of my Star Wars room because I have two copies of him where he is mislabeled as Karnor Jax. So the good news for you, listener, if you would like this, all you have to do tonight in order to enter the contest, we're going to have a live giveaway. You ready for this? You type the words Legends, Legends, Legends into the chat in tonight's show. Got to say it 3 times in one message or it doesn't count.
It's like
3
Beetlejuice.
Legends into the chat tonight. You can be entered to win. We will draw at the end of the episode for Karnor Jax. And by that I mean Kir Kanos. And it could be showing up on your doorstep. Who knows? This could be collectible. Am I right, Freddie? That's
Yeah.
why you bought one.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gotten the correct one yet, because as you saw, it's possible that it's not there yet. And we've talked about it in length, but yeah, it is acknowledged by Hasbro that it was a misprint. And I love the art on the inside too. It's beautiful, right? And that's part of
It is.
You'll see that in our episode next week. Even this year, we talk about the art. It's a beautiful box. So for those of you who want this, Legends.
Well, let's get into it. I did find the correct information here. This was not Mike Richardson, but Randy Stradley, who ended up being, editor-in-chief at Dark Horse Comics for decades, just retired recently. Randy Stradley was working for Marvel Comics in the 80s. This goes all the way back to 1983, and he had this as a script idea for the 4 Royal Guards at the end of Return of the Jedi. Then he pitched it to Dark Horse when it was acquired. This sat as an idea for 14 years. It finally saw the light of day when he pitched it to Ryder Wyndham and Mike Richardson in 97. And it was morphed a little bit. It was first an idea in 1983. Isn't that phenomenal?
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
That far back.
Yeah. And you can tell this has got some real original trilogy roots here, doesn't it?
It really does.
It feels... Mm-hmm. It's got that feel to it. So let's talk about it. But first and foremost, with the characters... let's rate it. What rating would you give this thing on a scale from 1 to 10? Emily's like, oh no, I haven't thought about a rating. We get to catch it live here on the show as she figures it out and thinks it up. For me, it is an 8.5. Absolutely great. Halfway on its way to being incredible. An absolutely seminal Legends comics story. Let's kick it over to Freddie.
Okay, so let me give it put it back into the 90s, right? I'm gonna rate it as if I'm in the 90s because I feel like where it belongs. If you try to bring it into the current zone, it may not read as well, or maybe the art is a little too buxom. The story's fantastic. The action is every single page. I'm not even sure if there's a page without action sometimes. Just going through it, I was constantly flipping through it. It's an easy read. You're going to flip right through it. The art is absolutely beautiful. Inside art and the cover art. Many times you get inside art and outside art. Just not really lining up, but this is beautiful all the way around. The story is fantastic. The way it ties in Rogue Squadron. Let's see, what else am I missing? It's Rogue Squadron.
As soon as Rogue Squadron came on the page, it just bumped Freddie's rating up a whole score.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's got ships. It's got beautiful action art. We'll talk about that in the episode next week. This is definitely, if I had to pick one of my most favorite comic books. Now, the Old Republic is still number 1 in my opinion. Crimson Empire is probably a strong number 2.
Okay.
Not considering Boba Fett. I feel like it's kind of me being biased. Boba Fett is always going to be number 1, but I would give
That's
this...
S tier. These are both A tier.
Yeah. So there you go. This is definitely S tier stuff. You gotta read this if you're a Legends fan. I'm gonna put this definitely at a 9.2.
Okay. High score from Freddie. Emily.
I'm going to go with 8.4.
Okay. Which is one notch below me, huh?
Yeah. I thought it was really, really good and very action-packed. There were a couple pretty cringy moments that I enjoyed. I thought they were kind of fun to kind of break it up. And I'm pretty sure they were inserted there intentionally. But yeah, that's why it wasn't a 9-something.
I've heard that Emily brought images to show off some of the cringe. I can't wait. Rick, what's your score?
So my score is lower, but I loved it. So don't be alarmed. I feel like I give everything a super high score, and I'm still new to a lot of comics, and so especially Legends comics, and so I'm gonna give it an 8. But it's a great story. I loved it.
Yeah,
that is a good rating. All right, absolutely. Let's start off with the seminal man himself, Kir Kanos, absolutely. Talking about the man in red himself, and if his blade doesn't pierce your suit of armor, his stare will pierce your soul. Am I right? Kir Kanos. First and foremost, how do you guys pronounce this? You say Kanos? Kanos?
I think we all know mine's going to be Kanos.
So a little bit spicy.
A little bit of it almost sounds Greek, right? The Kanos.
Ooh, can I start rolling the R? Kir
Kanos.
Kanos.
Why
Make
not,
him a little
man?
Scottish.
I actually
Yes,
like
Kir
that one a lot.
Kanos. Yeah.
That's a good
That
one.
gives it a totally
He's
different
from the Highlands.
tint.
Kir Kanos.
Wow,
It's not bad. That's not bad.
Braveheart.
Really good.
Yeah.
I like
Wow, that added a whole
You
different
might
dimension.
take my scythe sword, but you can't take my freedom. Okay.
it. That's good.
Sorry.
Oh,
That
my
was
goodness.
great. I think I'm gonna have to pick Rick's pronunciation. I am not gonna attempt to say that, but I really liked his dedication.
Yeah, I
I
like
have
it.
a feeling
great.
that if Kier Kanos heard you say that, he would stab you with his double-bladed vibro
Either
sword.
that, or he would pull out like the vibro sword like bagpipe attachment and start getting super patriotic.
Nah.
I'm not sure.
He'd probably just stab you.
Attachments. It doesn't seem like he's a very musical character.
Bagpipe attachment. Oh my goodness. Now,
That's the most legendy thing ever. Come on, it could happen.
a bagpipe attachment. Yeah, I could see it. I could see it. But not from Kier Kanos.
Not from Kirkanos.
Now, we may pronounce his name that way. However, he also has an alter ego, the bounty hunter, Kenix Kill, which, like, if you're looking for a bounty hunter name, Kill is a good one,
Yeah.
isn't it?
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Just really makes it clear.
Like
this
your
is
tail.
what I do.
Kleenex kill.
This is that name might as well be.
I mean, if you're
Death
going
Star.
through the bounty hunter book and you're trying to pick a guy, I mean, he seems like he'd get the job done.
Kleenex kill.
Yep.
I
there
once
you go.
picked a dentist based on his last name was Dr. Wisdom.
Nice.
And, that's why
I
I
like
picked
that.
him. It's like,
Mine was,
oh,
Get this,
Dr.
Emily.
Weed.
We're really.
oh, there you
All
go.
right.
All right.
My dentist's name, Dr. Beavers. I kid you not. Dr. Beavers.
Cool.
And if you're listening to this, hello. I am taking great care of my teeth. Don't you worry. Now, the fact of the matter is, Kier Kanos is the titular character of this series. He is the protagonist, but he's not necessarily pure-blooded heroic, is he? He is, in fact, loyal to none other than Emperor Palpatine himself. And based on the way that he reveres Palpatine, you'd think Palpatine was dope. He's not. What do you guys think? Why in the world is Kanos loyal to the Emperor?
I think it comes down to what his role is, right? He is a soldier. That's his role, and his mission is priority, mission first. And his mission is to protect the Emperor. And if in the event the Emperor does die, it's most likely in his best interest to exact that or avenge the Emperor in any way possible as the soldier, right? He's programmed for one thing, and that is for protection and and I'm not sure if it's the Emperor or if it's the chair itself, right? It could flip. If someone was in that chair who was properly voted into that, or I don't know, he's a dictator, but however that happens, he might have not been so lethal, but because it was taken in malice, as a soldier, that's his priority directive to secure that chair.
My thought on it is that he doesn't actually know anything about Palpatine, nor does he care. He wants to protect the Emperor because he's sworn to do so, and it's an honor thing for him. Honor seems to be
Good point.
For sure.
massive,
Yeah.
and I can imagine that you can't hear all that great inside those helmets. So and they keep the royal guards way down the other end of the chamber.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't hear the kind of conversations that Palpatine's having. It's probably mostly mundane, like that late into the Empire. There's not all that much. He would regard like the rebellion as terrorists and like
I'm
they need
hungry.
to be put down. And so I kind of can understand, but it does seem a little bit nonsensical to me that he is still fighting for an emperor
Yeah.
who was so unbelievably wicked.
And seemingly had no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I throw in a thought here?
Yeah.
I think totally he was programmed, Like we don't know much about his story before he joined not the academy, but his training regiment. And so if it wasn't at that, what's the planet called? Where they have the
Yinchor.
the wall.
Yinchor.
Yinchor. So there's got to be some brainwashing going on because he is so devout, and it doesn't make sense. And that's almost like a plot failure of why would anybody be this devout to the Empire? So I'm saying it's got to be programming, brainwashing, and I just want to okay, I promise this is not like a setup for a joke. This is a real honest moment. When I was watching the original trilogy as a kid, you know, George Lucas and the story in Star Wars, they've always done a great job of really drawing from real life history and depicting the Empire, and you know, a lot of like Nazi symbols and propaganda and a lot of symbolism there. But when I saw the Imperial Guard, I thought of the KKK. Not even joking. And so I've had in my head like just how vile of a person you must be to be a defender of the Emperor, just because of that image. And so it took me a long time to kind of like, why do we want to read this book? You know, why is it good? But like, it is a good story, and it's very much disconnected from that. But if I'm being honest, as a kid, like I think like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou or something came out,
yeah.
you know, something like that. And so like I was, I noticed that in one of the movies, and I was like, what am I watching? What is this? And so that's always been in my head what the Imperial Guard were like. Anyway, so that's kind of been my head. So trying to unwork from that and see Kir Kanos as a redeemable character was quite the journey for me.
I like how you
Excellently
work,
said.
brother. Where art thou in there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
that was unexpected. Yeah.
Full
I'm
circle.
a man of
Sorry for
constant
that.
sorrow.
Yeah. We can fit
And
that
that's-
into our YOUTINI Legends Look Back musical. We'll write that
yeah.
one
There
down
you go.
somewhere.
That's one of the things that works about this, though, is that you get behind the scenes of an Imperial character, somebody who is not
Yeah.
your regular old rebel. He's not an X-wing pilot. You know, at this point, the Dark Empire or the Dark Horse comics that were out there were X-wing comics. Dark Empire, you know, which is about Luke Skywalker, a very interesting Luke Skywalker to say the least. But you've got you know, like the Republic series, it doesn't start coming out until, 99, 98, 99. So this is, Tales of the Jedi is out. Besides that, you know, there's not a ton that's really focusing on this corner of the galaxy. And it tells a really unique story. So I do wonder, though, once he starts to learn more about, you know, the fact that he's got so many allies in the New Republic, once he starts to develop his relationship with Mirith Sin, once he starts to learn of the wickedness of Darth Vader, for example, the fact that he, you know, killed Mirith Sin's husband, family? What was that thing there? Was it her whole family or just her husband?
I think just her husband.
I think it was her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. He starts to realize that, you know, he's got some loyalties that are not what he initially expected. But why won't he defect to the New Republic, do you guys think? Why is it that he keeps them at arm's length the way that he does?
It's a different organization. It is opposite of what he started, right? And I can't imagine it's easy to just switch from one to the other that easily. And like we talked about, right? And like everybody said here, he was programmed for something, and it's not easy to just go from that propaganda to another, right? It's totally different, and I can only imagine, you know, let's just put into perspective sports. Let's just say you're a fan of one team, and you've been following that team forever, and that team disbands. Like, how easy is it going to be for you to become a fan of another team, right? It takes some time. You're not going to just dive into it. Some people do, right? But he's going to be cautious. He's not sure on them. He's not sure if this is the best choice. That's just
When he
my
was
take.
raised to believe they were terrorists.
That's another thing, right?
So-
Yeah, it's a lot of brainwashing there.
Yeah. Which, I mean,
sure.
technically they were. But
Yeah.
were they in the moral high ground? Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
they still were technically terrorists. So it's kind of hard to jump from one regime to the other. And I think he probably wants some freedom. He's been living his whole life with one goal in mind. And then, like, he meets the objective of, like, basically exacting revenge on Palpatine's betrayers. And now I think he's trying to figure out, okay, what should I think? What do I think? What should I do now? Because my whole point of living and protecting is gone.
Yeah, that's a great point, Emily. Freedom, like that. I've never really considered that. He might just not want to be a part of anybody.
Yeah, it seems to me that he's not even entertaining what is he going to do next.
Yeah.
Because they, you know, kind of sell this 3-story arc as, first and foremost, getting revenge on Carnor Jax. Then Volume 2 is on the Imperial Ruling Council. Then, thirdly, which like you don't see coming unless you're paying attention. Luke Skywalker. That's where the third major beat in the story is going. But it seems to me that he's not even thinking about what's next until he gets those things off his agenda, which, the story was delayed 10, 15 years, but it was 98 until 2011. People were clamoring for this. It would be in the works and it would get shelved. It would be in the works and it would get shelved. So the fact that it could finally come to fruition, if the creators couldn't even get this done, Kyrkanos is certainly not even thinking about what his next steps are going to be. One of the major things that keeps him, at arm's length from the New Republic is the fact that he kills Mirith Sin, who is a captain, commander in the New Republic, kills her right-hand man, Sadit, the Trandoshan. What is he, a bodyguard? Or
probably like
sidekick?
Second command or something.
First mate?
Something like that.
He is Mirith Sin's Chewbacca. And he interferes with Kyrkanos trying to, can we say assassinate? Eliminate? He's going to take the life of Garnor Jax at the end of their duel. He's not looking to arrest him. He's not your Legends Batman, though he may seem that way. He's more of the Legends Punisher. He is going to take out the bad guy. And Sadit wants for them to arrest Garnor Jax, get more information from him.
Which is a smart thing
because
to do, right?
Sure. Because he interferes, though, he gets that double-bladed vibro scythe to the abdomen. Let me ask you guys, did Kanos have to kill Sadit?
I
don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, Emily, why is that?
It just seemed like... I don't know. I don't think it was absolutely necessary, but I understand why he did it. Because at that point, he's just goal-focused, right? Of like, the goal is to kill Garnor Jax, and if this guy's going to get in the way, then he's going to. Like, I don't have time to negotiate, or like... And like, as the Empire's Guard, you don't have to negotiate with anyone. You just, your whole goal is just to kill and protect, and he does that. So, yeah, he's not a diplomat.
I think Kanos also understands how dangerous Jax is, right? So if you give him an out, if you give him a moment to regain strength, and he was not going to give him any of that moment, and it meant killing Sadit, which I agree with you, Emily. I don't think he needed to do that, but he is goal-oriented. In his resume, he can put that in his resume.
Yeah, it seems to me that Jax has really demonstrated his lethality. So, he's too dangerous to be kept alive. Am I right? There's no other option here. But, yeah, poor Sadit. F's in the chat for Sadit. I didn't see it coming. And I've read this thing twice now, and I still didn't see it coming.
Same.
And I've listened to the audio drama a bunch of times, too, and I still forgot it was about to happen. And, it's brutal to think, it ends. Volume 1 ends with spoileries, by the way. We didn't give any kind of spoiler warning.
Oops.
Going full of spoilers on all of Crimson Empire.
I feel like that's expected, but there you go.
The Volume 1 ends with Mirith Sin. You kind of feel like there's a romance happening here. Volume 1 ends with Mirith Sin saying, what is it? I vow that I'm going to kill this sucker. What's the direct quote?
that was a direct quote.
I'm going to kill
this sucker.
Nailed it.
There is nowhere in this galaxy he can hide from me. As of this moment, Kyrkanos is a condemned man, and I swear by the holy stars that I will be his executioner.
So cool.
Invoking the
epic.
holy stars, man.
And that's how the first one ends, and you're just like, goodness gracious, this is intense.
Yeah.
And the next one ends, and you're like, what?
The next one ends, and they love each other.
Yeah, it's like...
She
They
executed his hate.
So the fact of the matter is, he is kind of a ladies' man. He works his way, but he's not happy about it, right? Which leads him to be very much like the Batman. You guys seen Batman? Seen the new one?
No, I haven't yet.
All right, I'm going to spoil it. Ready?
No!
Okay.
Look at him. He was ready to go.
Got those headphones off in a
It is a
heartbeat. All right.
battle, man. I work with teenagers, and they want to ruin things for me. So all day, I'm like,
Oh, sure.
don't you do this to me.
Absolutely. Okay, ready? Bruce Wayne
No.
is Batman.
Brand
That's right.
new information.
Forn's in the chat for for. There he is. He's back. Never mind.
I actually almost said Bruce Banner is Batman. That is a
Interesting.
different
That
universe.
would have been a bigger
Plot
spoiler.
twist.
Yeah.
Get it?
That
Bigger,
would've been
bigger
concerning.
spoiler. 'Cause
Let me ask you guys this,
Hulk.
though. Speaking of universes,
Man.
is,
Oh
in
my
your opinion,
gosh.
Kierkenos more Batman, Punisher, or Clint Eastwood?
Punisher.
Yeah, Punisher.
Punisher,
I'll go with
okay.
Punisher on this
But
one.
no guns?
No guns. Although I feel like he might have used one, maybe not.
I'm gonna go
I feel
samurai.
like as Kennex Kill he did.
I'm gonna go
Samurai.
honor
Okay, Rick, what do you-
honor-bound samurai.
Oh, yeah. That's a really
Dang,
good
that's a
comparison.
So
Good one,
Ninja
man.
Turtle.
Ninja Turtle,
Ninja
yeah.
Turtle. Yeah.
Except for a dark Ninja Turtle.
He's
Way
mission
dark.
he's
Red
mission focused,
Ninja
right?
Turtle.
And Batman's not quite. I mean, it's tough to say. I guess it depends which kind of Batman you're running into. And then Clint Eastwood, I can't really see that, but definitely Punisher. Punisher, he's going after one thing and whatever it takes, right? If he has to blow up at a whole neighborhood to get to that person, he'll probably do it. And
Yeah,
I feel like
I mean,
that's
they,
what.
they call him the biggest outlaw in the galaxy
Yeah.
at one point here. Which, obviously, it's not illegal to just go around being judge, jury, and executioner for whoever you deem worthy of your blade. Which leads us to this big kind of surprise moment at the end of the second volume, where Canos, my cat is peeling off my layers of light filtering over there. So I'm going to get a little bit brighter as the episode goes on.
Oh man.
A little bit more crimson in the face. It's warm in here. Now, he doesn't kill all the council members in the end of Council of Blood. He kills, what's the chunky emperor? What's his name?
Corvus, Cordal.
Yeah,
Corvus.
Corvus.
Yeah.
Something.
He kills him. Poor guy.
He needed
He had
it.
it.
He was ready to go.
He had it coming.
It was
Yeah,
this
he
time.
did.
They did not write that character to survive.
Nope.
No. From the moment, his introduction, in fact, is eating like a cookie.
Every
They cut over
time
to
there's
him,
a fat
they
dude
say,
eating
like,
something,
I
he
elect-
dies. Like,
I elect Corvus to be the next emperor, and it cuts over to him, and he's like,
So what I'm hearing is I would not survive in the Star Wars universe.
oh no! If that's how you introduce the character, is that they're just lounging around having food brought to them, you're like, okay, well,
Rick, you'd be
I wonder when you're gonna die.
you'd be in a fighter pilot. You'd be fine. Rogue
If I could
Squadron.
fit in the cockpit, man. That's
B-wing.
those R2 droids will vacuum up all your cookie crumbs out of your
That's right.
cockpit seat. So why doesn't Canos kill all the council members, though? They were all, in on the betrayal to, assassinate, to sabotage Palpatine's last clone body. They were all usurpers to the throne in equal measure. But then he doesn't eliminate all of them. They were, other than Corvus, they were all in their cells. He had locked them away or had killed them.
Or-
There were a few left, though. Why didn't he kill the council members? Seemed like they were all teed up, ready to go.
So
Good answer.
I guess on one hand it could be just weak plot and bad writing. I don't think that's the case. I think that it's probably more just character growth. Like we kind of said, he moves away
Yeah.
from that single-minded track of avenge the emperor to okay, there were some bad people, and that'd be fun. I'm reading Skuma's comments about
Yeah,
That was pretty distracting.
Rick eating one of the Nala tree frogs. Well, imagine like Baby Yoda, the legs sticking out of your mouth.
I was
Oh,
trying to
my
remember
goodness.
some hutties too, but I'd probably say cuss words, so I'm not even gonna try. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, maybe he just grows as a character, but also the plot is complicated because there is the crime syndicate and the stupid hut that's wrapped into the story too that are also pulling some strings behind the scenes, and so
You mean Awesome Hut? Grappa is legit.
he is disgusting. They're all disgusting, man.
Grappa the Hut is my
Rosa the
boy.
Hutt.
He is so cool. He's a hut with
He's
drip.
something.
You know what I'm saying?
Isn't grappa like a hard alcohol?
It
Yeah, I
is.
think so.
It's Italian.
Alcohol the Hut.
It's like an Italian
Grappa.
You know,
vodka, basically.
I'm not. I don't really know the answer to this one. This is actually a very good question. Part of me wonders if he just did enough damage and he's like, I think you guys get the message, or like he took care of the ones he needed to take care of and he knew the rest were kind of worthless. I'm not sure what it could be, but it is definitely some character growth. or maybe he accomplished enough of his mission that he was done with it.
One of the things that really works for me is the fact that this series keeps me guessing. There's a lot of places along the way where I just am not sure what's going to come next. And that's very rare for me with Star Wars stories. And the fact that he has them all ready to go, they're in their cells, he's accomplished his mission, nobody can stand in his way, and then he relents. Is like, oh, well, there's something happening here. There's more to the story. I can't wait for the next volume, which I think is why it left people anxious for decades to get to Crimson Empire 3, the third volume. And it really pays off in some big ways. So we've talked about Kira Kanos. We don't have a ton of time left tonight. Let's at least give a little bit of love to Mirith Sin. Do you think she loves or hates Kanos? It's a little bit of both. A little bit of both. Emily
Why
is our
not
resident
both?
woman.
Why not both?
Yeah.
It is very classically 90s, I think, that she is redheaded.
Yes.
And that full of rage. And it ends up falling for the bad guy in the end. Their romance cracks me up.
Don't forget the crop top.
The crop top and the visor that shows all the.
There's one point where Princess Leia's like,
security in the
"Oh,
palace."
why are you wearing this red visor?" And she's like, "It's full of information."
Because it's the future. There's technology, even though it's in the past. It's okay.
That's right. They're
no.
stuck in the same time
So
loop that
funny.
we are.
Right.
There are elements of her character that I really love, and I do like that she comes around and they kind of meet in the middle a little bit. Like she kind of
they
gives
both
up
have
her
to give some.
revenge. He kind of gives up some of his, and then in the end they start to realize, okay, I kind of see where you're coming from. But yeah, it was.
You can tell that
was
it's written
funny.
by a couple of men. I'll say that much.
Yeah,
But
and it was very
then-
comic booky.
But then
sure.
she is, in its defense, in that part of the story has not necessarily aged the best,
No,
to put it nicely. But in its defense, she is another one of these women in a long line of women in the Rebel Alliance who are the women that save the galaxy, right?
That's
the women
true.
that are behind the scenes, leaders of men, commanding their underlings, fighting a war to bring freedom for the very people who, like them, were under the Empire's thumb. And her family, her husband was savagely murdered just because Darth Vader wanted to prove the point that he didn't care if his planet rebelled, because they were all just people that needed to get in line to him. And so she is representative of this really strong dynamic within Star Wars of these women being the real backbone of the Rebel Alliance. You see what I'm saying?
yeah, that's an excellent point.
Given the time frame too, right? The 90s, the fact that she is the commander I guess she would be the commander of this outpost, right? And the fact that she is the leader.
Yeah.
It goes to show that, Star Wars always had some sort of, I guess, feminist view, although it might have been skewed with the time, right? But they tried to make her a powerful person, a person to be reckoned with, a person who could take her own matters into her own hands without having to rely on other people. And they did it the best way they could, and I think I appreciate that. I appreciate them doing that as far back as the original Star Wars, with Princess Leia being as powerful as she is, right? And we see that even now, right? Times have changed. We're in a different era, and Star Wars has adapted women and a bunch of other people into better roles that fit the time we're in, that are a bit cutting edge, in my opinion. So, applauding on that point.
Better clothes too.
I would say that the series' downfalls have more to do with it being a 90s comic than with it being Star Wars.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
And
That's
the
a good
fact
point.
that this has endured in the eyes of so many fans for as long as it has, and we all four scored it highly, with the reservations, I think goes to show that it really does have good bones.
It does.
And I don't want every Star Wars story to be this hyper-masculine, assault on everything that's wrong with the galaxy. It bathed in blood and fire. But
But if that's what
It's
you
cool.
were looking for, you have
Yeah,
found
this-
it.
I think this is what, for some people, they think all of Legends is. But it's not. This is,
That's
a
kind of what I
one
thought when I started. And I've
extreme
been pleasantly
story.
surprised at the powerful women in Legends.
And even in this, there's more to it than just blood and fire. Emily,
Yeah.
you said you had a few things for us tonight that made you laugh along the way.
Yeah.
I would love to know what were some of these moments for you that were highlights of Crimson Empire from the perspective of Emily, a woman who has never read Crimson Empire before. I'm so excited.
There were a few panels that I thought were pretty funny. The romance panel was, I think, when Kira Kanos and Mirith Sin kiss for the first time. I just thought it was funny because it kind of just came out of nowhere. They didn't really lay a whole ton of like foundation for romance. It was just sort of like, I don't know, there's a redheaded woman. Let's just she'll just kiss somebody, and like that'll be like a whole extra thing. I thought that was hysterical. The other thing that I thought that this whole series did hilariously were the sound effects for the fighting. Mm-hmm. Like, oh my goodness, they're just like, I can't quite read that. Can y'all read that
Spans?
for me?
The word spans.
Yes. Like, the variety of sound effects written into the text, like, of the panels, like, was hysterical.
Onomatopoeia.
They worked really hard on that. They came up with a
like-
lot of different options.
There was one page that said Spanx.
Yes. I mean, they were just, it was in every single issue, there were at least
Shroom?
two
Is
panels.
that Shroom?
Shroom, probably.
Yeah.
My favorite was the
Beyop, I think.
blaster. Pew, pew.
Oh, B.O., yeah.
Biol.
That one happened a lot.
I don't even see those words when I'm reading
That's
comics.
funny. Neither do I, Jared.
I noticed
I
you
couldn't
too.
not see
Hold
them.
on. Emily, do you read these out loud in your mind every time you get to one?
I see it and I'm like, okay, battle sounds. Skip. Like, going to the next page. How do y'all read them?
I don't.
Yeah, I kind of see it
You
as a
just
sound
hear it
effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
no.
your head.
It's audible. It's not in my head. It is for everyone to experience when I'm reading one of these.
I could see
wow.
that.
We should have a comic story time with Rick, and I'll do all the sounds for you guys.
That
That
might
would be
have to
great.
happen one of these weeks. That might
I
just
would
have
love
to happen. We're going to give you the one where Ki-Adi-Mundi is a polygamist. That's going to be a great story.
Ooh,
Oh,
that
man.
sounds fun.
Moist. Okay.
It's not. It is pure drudgery.
It is.
Moist drudgery. All right. Lightning round as we close it out. Favorite original character. What's one character in this that you really latched onto? I'm going to go ahead and take him off the board. Number one pick, Zanzixel. Right? The leader of the Xanabar.
Nobody wanted him, Jared. That's
We
all
haven't
you.
even touched on that this episode yet.
The Xanabar. Oh, Emily, the Xanabar, are they one of your picks for the goofy things?
No, but they were a little horrifying. Like,
Okay. All right. Who's your favorite original character?
Let's
You
see.
can't say the Nalatree frog from that spread.
Dang it! I was gonna say
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay. Were you? We'll talk about it in next week's episode. Everybody get a tease for the beautiful spread of artwork from. Is it issue 3?
I believe it's issue 3. It's one of the beginning issues during the attack on the rebel base. I believe. Right. It's like one of the opening.
Yeah,
Somewhere around there.
Just right around
You're
there.
gonna see just an interesting character sitting there, just looking right at you.
oblivious to what's happening in the background
You-
behind him.
you know-
We've got a great. Go
I was
ahead.
gonna say I wouldn't say that I have a specific character that I like, but I really enjoy a lot of the martial artistry in these stories. Like there's a ton of martial artistry in these books. Everything from I mean, it's all mostly hand-to-hand combat, and it seems like blasters are just secondary, not really that important. But the fighting, right? The
good point.
gladiator-esque at the very
a
beginning.
lot of hand to hand.
A lot of hand-to-hand combat. Beautiful, honestly. I love that martial arts kind of art in these books, and the motion that they capture within the vibroblades, vibrating, and you can see that in the page. Beautiful stuff.
Absolutely. And Rick, did you have a favorite character?
Off the path, I wish we had more of, so tell me if there is more of, but I don't know how you say, is it Tav or Tave Kinnaid or Kennedy? He was the trainer's son who...
Oh, I say Kaninda.
Kaninda? Okay.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, what's his name? Kier Kanos puts him in like one of his man, what I can't remember what ship it was now. He sets him up with the
Sora sub?
Yeah, the Sora sub, yeah. And anyway, so I don't know. I just was fascinated by him and just this guy that showed some of Kier's character, I guess, that he was still looking out for his teacher's son, and had contacts from a very isolated world. He actually had friends, and so I don't know. I like that character.
Cool.
Excellent. All right, a couple more before we close it out. Which of the stories did you enjoy the most? We've got Crimson Empire 1, 2, 3, and then a few little kind of side issues about Koenig's Kill.
That
kind of
Kleenex
caught.
guy was pretty cool.
Did you say the Kleenex guy?
Yeah.
Kleenex.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
wear
like
his.
Kleenex,
Well,
dude.
didn't he look a little bit? Speaking of Judge, Jury, and Executioner, didn't he look a little bit like Judge Dredd?
Yeah,
Right. Totally has
I
a
see
judge.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to do that, but with some Kleenex boxes. It's my next cosplay. While
There you
Jared
go.
does Salacious B. Crumb.
I like the one where the kids are almost kidnapped again.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
Right.
was the second one. Is that the
That's-
series?
See, now you're getting
Now you're seeing it.
now
Oh.
you're getting the
The trope.
the beats for. I think that's the beginning of number 3 of
Number 3?
Crimson Empire 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're starting to get the beats of Legends. This post Return of the Jedi Legends, the kids get
And
kidnapped
the
or
kids are
almost kidnapped.
Yeah.
A lot. Yep. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But the
Absolutely.
redhead saves them. So that's good.
Honestly,
Man,
I
they're
love the
true.
first story though. The first story is just
Yeah.
absolutely
It's a
amazing and a great intro to the series.
It would have
It's
been
all
great
good.
standalone.
Yeah.
If they hadn't developed it at all, it would have been great.
Yeah.
I'm having
But
a
it was
hard
also
time.
great that they developed it.
Yeah, they're all good. Like you said, I can't pick a favorite. I like conclusions, so maybe the third just for some closure.
Yeah.
But the second one is the wildest, I think.
Yeah.
With Grappa's fate and Salty Luke. Oh my goodness. Because he was so sassy and a jerk, and I get it, but like, dude, come on, tone that down.
Yeah. I could see that.
Well, the Dark Empire stories, and this is in that vein, they do kind of show a skewed Luke.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's definitely more of an homage to that than the mainstream
Sure.
story of Luke
Right.
in Legends. Definitely. What else? How about when Vader showed up in the flashback? There's a couple of
That
really good
was good.
reveals here. Vader showing up on Yentor, another good one. Here in the chat from Skooma Joe, he says when Nominor was introduced in Crimson Empire 2, Nominor is a huge key player in the new Jedi Order series, and he is the Yu Zhanvang ambassador.
Whoa, okay, don't spoil
No,
it.
it's not a spoil. They
down,
don't
Rick.
reveal it here where he comes from.
All right, because
But,
I had a lot
this-
of questions about him, so that's good, because I was like, we didn't
I
do anything
wondered.
with that.
So let me give you the whole story of him real quick.
This is late '90s. This is planting the seeds for what's going to come.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's they're just starting to sow the seeds for the fact that the Yuuzhan Vong want discord in the galaxy. Their agenda is to have the Empire and the New Republic weakened, and so they're going around sowing these seeds of dissent and trying to destabilize. So Nominor is this chaos agent. Nominor, Chaos Ambassador. A Star Wars story.
Crimson
Good one.
Chaos. Crimson
That's the worst
Chaos
idea I've ever
almost.
had.
Yeah, that's a
Not
great
at all.
one, man.
All right. Anything else, guys, before we close it out? I've had a ton of fun talking about this. We're going to next week close it out with the art of Crimson Empire. If you're thinking, hey, how come you guys have talked about one of the most visually iconic comics of all time and haven't shown off very much art? Well, don't you worry. That's coming up next week. And boy, are they in for a treat. The entire thing is just Xanabar teeth. Just the entire episode.
We do have a giveaway, don't we?
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, the giveaway. So we said if you typed the words "Legends, Legends, Legends" in the chat, you'll be entered to win this 50th anniversary Lucasfilm Carnor Jax misprint Kir Kanos action figure. And I just so happen to have 2. So one of them is going to one of our lucky listeners. And did you guys see live in the chat how many people misspelled Legends?
I know. I should have misspelled their names. That would have been funny.
Yeah, everyone was super excited to win this misprint.
Yeah, it looks like we had at least 5 entries that I counted. So here we go. We got your 5 names on the board. Thank you guys for chiming in. Jared, are you ready for this?
Absolutely. Do I need to do like a spinning noise for you?
There might be spinning noises coming through, but if you tell me to spin it, then I'll spin it for you.
Ready, set, spin that wheel. Skooma Joe is the winner.
Nice.
He is the winner. So happy for Skooma Joe. Everybody give Skooma Joe a round of applause for winning his very own
nice.
Crimson Empire action figure. I love it. So happy for you. Thank you to everybody for entering the contest. And don't you worry, there will be more giveaways to come in the future if you liked this one. Well, that does it for this week. Thanks for joining us for Legends Look Back. Thank you to our incredible patrons for your support. We love making the show, and we're glad you're along for the ride. A special thank you to our Jedi High Council. That is OK Indar, Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Patrick Ortiz, and Carl Sander, as well as to our Alliance High Command, Matt Billington, Elizabeth Cloutier, Freddie C., and Sally and Chris Eilerson. Remember to sub to the channel and leave us a review in your podcast platform of choice. That helps us out and goes a long way in helping the show grow. If you'd like your thoughts read on the show, you can email us at legendslookback@youtini.com. You can send us a message in the Legends Look Back Discord channel. You can leave a comment on this episode on YouTube, or you can find us on Twitter at Legends Look Back, or I'm at Jared Q. Mays. Freddie
At Wake Up Freddy.
Rick
At Rick_Grace.
and Emily.
At Darth Daybeck.
If you're looking to buy some of these books, such as the Crimson Empire Saga, and want to help support the show, you can look up a book on Youtini. Click the Amazon link in the profile, and then after you've got the book, read the book, you can then leave us a review and let us know what you think. Remember, keep the Youtini fan code and be a force for positivity in the fandom. May the force be with you.
This is a Youtini broadcast.